I am Eunice Ray, and I am interviewing a dear friend and Andrea Neikirk. And I just want to spend a few minutes, and I want you to be encouraged by her message because there's only 6.8% of us in America that are metabolically fit. And what is metabolism? Well, it's the food we eat and the air we breathe, and joining all of that, making whatever we consume usable at the cellular level to feed our bodies and to give us the energy and the life force that we need to go on. And there are people who aren't getting the best of their food and oxygen, and metabolism is not good. So in an effort to kind of give you an encouragement and an idea that, hey, it is possible to regain your health, reboot your metabolism. And I think it is really important. So Andrea Neikirk, welcome to the
Thank
interview.
you.
I would like you to just tell everyone about how old you are and what have you done in life. And so we get a fix on where you are in the process of life and the span of life.
Well, thank you, Eunice. And I'm going to tell you that I was a teacher for 30 years. I'm 55 years old now. I retired 4 years ago, and my husband and I have two grown children who are flourishing, and I love that. That was my snapshot. And when you turn 50, that's a kind of a little bit of a magic age. That metabolism just doesn't quite do what it used to do. You're still trying to fix it the old ways. Mm-hmm. And that was really difficult for me.
Well, when I met you, we did a presentation on metabolism, and I said some things to you. You're a science teacher. You do know about cellular health, and we were talking about that. Are we getting food and energy to the cells efficiently? That was a stunning evening for you, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I was angry. I was literally angry. I felt very lied to from the perspective of all the FDA requirements and things like that, because you think you're doing the healthy things, when in the flip side of that is you're not doing the right things. And it took very few tweaking things to make a transformational change in my life over the last year. Mm-hmm. For that, I am eternally grateful. I think the longevity that I've put in my life, and even my children have said that. They're like, Mom, you're taking care of yourself differently now, and we appreciate what you're doing. That's beautiful.
Well, there are 2 points to that. One, they love you. And two, a parent that isn't taking care of themselves eventually becomes someone that needs to be taken care of by their children or their spouse. And so it's a very unselfish act, I think, to take a look at what we're doing and make the tweaks that need to be made in order to live as vitally as possible. So how did you feel before the transformation, and where were you physically, mentally?
Yeah, it was really difficult because I was absolutely puffy. I was sluggish. I had more joint pain than a 55-year-old woman should have, especially because I was trying to exercise. I was trying to do some of the right things that I thought were essential to living longer, and yet they weren't working. It was kind of startling. It's like you can't do what you did before, because that doesn't work, apparently. And now you have to make some changes. And I was encouraged when I came to that presentation that I was like startled, right?
Well, did you attribute it to age potentially? Maybe this is just the slowdown that happens.
No, I mean, I didn't attribute it to too much age, because I still felt vibrant. Like I still had a lot to do, but my body was slowing down. And I thought, those two things need to kind of go like this, not like this, at 55. So
what did you do to bring this transformation, to have a transformation in your health?
I looked at the small tweaks that actually you were saying. I looked at no sugar. I looked and I was like, that's a big deal. No sugar. I looked at no grains. I looked at how can I stop eating after my dinner, not have those evening snacks that I was kind of getting used to, became a habit. And then I would say that those three things are great, wonderful. And then you put in the fasting. Mm-hmm. And that is the transformation starts to begin. When you cling to some of those things, those principles, transformation begins in your life.
So what has happened? You have gone from to where?
So do you mean pounds?
All of it. Weight is a factor. Metabolic dysfunction is possibly weight gain, not for everybody, but it had an impact on your weight, didn't it?
Yes. So 50 pounds sustained over the year. Now I lost 50 pounds probably within the first 8 months, I would say. And then sustaining that 50-pound weight loss, figuring it, you get really more in tune with your body too, of what your body wants and needs. That protein fat ratio is huge. But that transformation, and then, from that 50 pounds, that's a lot. If you think about the sugar, if you took pounds of sugar, right, and you just kind of set that out in front of you, I can move better now, and I don't have the pain that I had. I can get down and up easier. I can climb stairs much easier. I can exercise better. That's been just a life-changing event for me.
How about the mental clarity? Talk about if there's an emotional aspect to this and a mental clarity, because those are connected also to metabolism.
One of the things I noticed is when I fast, I become sharper. Who knew? Some people will say, oh, I'm going to be so sluggish. Not true. Not true at all. You become more focused and you become very, very sharp in your thinking. The brain fog that you once had dissipates. And I mean, there's some times, of course, but not like that fog that you felt like you're under.
Was that surprising to you?
Very, very surprising. And yet, I think we know that those biblical principles are there for a reason. And so I love the fact that I can fast and I can feel better, strong, and not even weak. There's no weakness. You feel stronger and you just feel more clear.
There's a lot now being talked about in terms of metabolism and anxiety and emotional depression, emotional health, all that sort of thing. And I think that one of the most important things we can do is to give up sugar. My dad was a diabetic, and back in the day, he gave me a book called Sugar Blues, because sugar is a depressant. And most people don't realize that we've gone from, 150, from 2 pounds when I was a kid in the 50s and 60s, 2 pounds a year per person, to over 150 pounds per year per person. And it's affecting the kids. The sugar has also changed. That's the other thing that I want to say here really quickly. It's not the sugar that your mother baked with. It's high fructose corn syrup, which is metabolized or digested in the liver, which has a very different effect than just cane sugar. The sugar's changed. Our consumption levels have changed, and it is affecting there are many people now speaking to the idea that a lot of the anxiety and depression that we're experiencing, or that we're seeing, the rise in that may be sourced, or you reference back to this increased consumption of sugar and the blues that result.
Absolutely.
Have you noticed a more buoyant, a little more joie de vivre, a lot excitement for life that maybe you didn't have while you were on the 6 to 11 servings of rice, pasta, cereal, and grains, that the standard American diet calls for?
The things that you don't know, right? That you finally figure out, alarming. So when you say sugar blues, I would absolutely say that is true, because we don't know that sugar is a depressant. From the American standard, we don't know this. They're adding sugar to everything. But what we do know is how we feel. And sometimes we feel like we need more sugar, and yet that's not true. We need less so that we can become clearer. We can regain our life. When you drop the amount of sugar that you have put in your body, you regain what you lost. You really do.
Is there a book you would recommend to people who want to track along with you and follow in your footsteps to a little better metabolic health?
Well, I was introduced to Fast Like a Girl by Dr. Mindy Pelz. I believe every woman should read that. And men could probably gain something from it too. But women of all ages, I've given that book to my daughter. She's read it. She's given it to her friend who's read it. I'm not going to say that they're putting everything into practice, but at least there's an education going on, and at least they know. I listen to Dr. Deanna Osborne every week on her podcast. I have her handbook. I've even read The Menopause Reset by Dr. Mindy Pelz. I also listen to, Dr. Mark Hyman. I've listened to so many different podcasts and things like that, because you want to hear that repetition over and over, because you get something new every single time. Every time you hear it, there's something new that you can learn.
Mhm. And in the mouth of two witnesses, all let everything be confirmed. So it's again and again and again. And there is a chorus. It's the same information from different specialties, different doctors, different disciplines of health, like chiropractic and all the rest. They're all saying the same thing. We just need to hear it in a new way. You know, Andrea Neikirk, I'm very grateful that you spent the time. You will help many people, and I'm excited about that because we do have to create a new movement, you know, and let each other know how simple and how freeing fasting is. And fasting is free. We talked about that yesterday. Fasting is free. And isn't every good thing from God free?
It's a wonderful thing. And, you know, Eunice, I'm thankful for you because I don't think I would have been on this journey without you. And I'm so thankful. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I just called you a heifer and said, we need to do something about this, don't we?
Well, I knew that I needed to, and you helped me. It has changed my life.
Well, I appreciate your time this morning, and
Yes,
we'll make this available for others. And it's exciting, really, very exciting. Thank you, darling.
Yes, thank you.
Have a great
Bye, Eunice.
Saturday. Bye.
You too.